Hey everyone, this is Alok and welcome back to my channel. In this video, we are continuing with our linked list series. Till now, we have covered some basic operations in linked list, and from now onwards, we will be scaling up the difficulty level of our problem statement. Right. So at this point, we have covered four basic operations in linked list. That is creation of a linked list, traversal of a linked list, insertion of a new node in a linked list, deletion of a node from a linked list. Right. All these topics we have covered in the previous videos. So let us now move on to our today's agenda for the video. Today we'll be learning how to print a linked list in reverse order. One thing to note over here that we are not going to reverse the linked list. Instead, we will be printing the linked list in reverse order. For this, we would be using the recursive approach. Let's take a look on the algorithm that we are going to follow for coding this. These are the 5 steps that we're going to follow. The first step is defining a recursive function. We will be first creating a recursive function, and inside that function, we would be passing the head of the linked list as its parameter. In the second step, we would be first checking if the current node is not null. Means if the current node is null, then the function would return, and otherwise, if it is not null, then the statements after that condition would be executed. So basically, it's a base case. If the base case is true, then the function would return, the recursive function would return. And if it is not true, then the statements inside that recursive function following that base case would be executed. Now let's move on to the third point, which tells us that if the base case is not true, it means if the current node is not null, then following that base case, there would be recursive call functions. And inside those recursive call functions, there would be argument which would be pointed to the next node. The fourth point tells us that after the function call statement, we would be writing the print statement. Over here, the concept of stack would be used. And lastly, when the recursive calls are complete, means the base case becomes true, then the nodes will be printed in reverse order. So this is the entire summary of the coding part that we would be doing. So let us now jump onto the coding part. This is our coding part. Over here I have created a linked list of 4 nodes and also a traverse function to traverse it. Let me give you a summary of this, how I have created this. If you want in detail explanation, then you can check out my previous video in which I have in detail explained how to create a linked list. So first of all, I have created a class node. Inside this node class, there are two instance variables, data and next. Data is an integer variable, whereas next is the reference to the next node. Inside, after this, we have created a constructor with parameter d, and inside this constructor, this instance variable data is assigned with the value of parameter d. Okay, so this is the basic structure of a node. Let's now move on to the main function. Inside this main function, the actual creation of the linked list take place. Over here, you can see I have created 4 objects of the node class, and along with that, there is a constructor. This is the same constructor that I have just talked about, right? And these nodes are defined with value 10, 20, 30, 40 respectively. All these 4 nodes have been allotted with a value, right? After the creation of these nodes are to be linked also, so that we can create a linked list. This process begins from the next line. Over here, the variable head is assigned with node 1. So head is the first node of our linked list. And now head would point towards node 2, node 2 would point towards node 3, and 3 would point towards 4, and 4 would ultimately point towards null. That's how our linked list is created. Now we need to traverse this linked list to print its output. For this, I have created a traverse function and passed the head of the linked list as its argument. This is how I have created the traverse function. First of all, I have created a temporary variable temp and allotted it with the value head. After this, I have created the while loop to traverse this linked list. Let's now first check whether my code is working properly or not. See, it's working perfectly. 10, 20, 30, 40. This is the linked list that I have created. So this is the entire summary of creation and traversal of the linked list. Now I'll be solving the problem statement of today's video, which is how to print a linked list in reverse order. According to the first step of the algorithm, we need to create a recursive function with head of the linked list as its parameter. So let's create it. Inside the body of the function, we first need to check whether the current node is null or not. First of all, we'll be creating a variable for current node. So this is our base case where we have checked whether our current node is null or not. And if it is null, then we'll have to return. Following this base case, there will be a recursive function call statement. It will be having argument which is pointing towards the next node. According to the algorithm, the function call statement is followed by the print statement. So this is the small piece of code needed to print the linked list in reverse order. Now we need to call this print reverse function from the main function. Over here, I'll be writing a function call statement. So I'm done with my coding part. Let's check whether it is giving correct output or not. So this is giving a perfect output. Over here, we can see that the our print linked list is printed in reverse order. So this is how to print a linked list in reverse order. Hope you enjoyed this presentation. See you in the next video.